Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week's video, we're in Barnes because we are at the midnight event for Onyx Storm. I'm here with Dom per usual. Very excited. So we just walked in, we got a couple things. We got this cute pin and then a bookmark and a new sticker for our Kindles. So just wanted to touch base. I'm going to be going through the whole event. There's trivia, there's coffee, good times. So I just wanted to check in and I will catch you guys later.
Sabrina the writer.
Thank you.
How colder it is.
Hello friends, it is now the next day. Let me turn my heat off. So it is now the next day. Dom and I went to the Onyx Storm party and we had a lot of fun. We only ended up staying for like an hour. Neither of us like pre-ordered the book through them because my dad had already pre-ordered me a copy, and like months and months ago I ordered a copy from Target. Then it got announced that they were doing like a Target exclusive that you had to get like day of. So that's where I am. I am currently at Target, 30 minutes from my house, because the one near my house, literally, as soon as I even woke up this morning, none. So I was like looking all around, and there was one, like I said, 30 minutes for me, and it said that it had it said like limited quantity. So I called, and the lady was like, oh yeah, we have like 3 left. It says on the whatever in their system. But that doesn't mean that there's 3 on the shelf. Like, it just means they have 3 on hand. So, like, people could have them around the store, like, whatever. She's like, and I have someone on the other line asking about it. And I was like, okay. So, then I decided I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. So, I ended up leaving. I ended up going to see if I could find it. And I'm here. And I failed. Couldn't find it. As I was there was actually another girl looking for one. So... and she ended up asking somebody, and they were like, yeah, no, we're sold out. And I was like, cry. And then I looked up where the next closest one that had even just limited quantity, and it was 40 minutes from this one in the opposite direction. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be like driving over an hour like back home. So alas, I was unable to get the Target exclusive, but I do have 2 copies coming of the one with the regular, like the deluxe edition with the dragon sprayed edges. So I am excited about that. Now, reading. So this, I didn't really do too much of an intro in that last clip. Me and Dom were very awkward in public. But this is also going to be like a reading vlog for Onyx Storm. Complete spoilers, so if you have not read the Empyrean series, like, this is your warning to not continue watching this video if you want spoilers, because I will be spoiling Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm in this video. So currently I'm doing a reread of Iron Flame. I did my reread of Fourth Wing, I finished that, started Iron Flame. I'm about 60% through, so I should be able to finish that, if not tonight, tomorrow. And my plan is to start Onyx Storm on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. I also got Dom to read the books. She is also about 60% through Iron Flame. This is her first read through. And she's gonna be coming over this weekend. We're gonna read for a little bit together, so you'll get our live reactions, and I think it'll be a fun time. So yeah, had fun at the event last night. Hashtag sad that I could not get the edition, the Target exclusive edition, because that sucks. But I do have the Kindle pre-order version, obviously, and then my mom and I pre-ordered the Audible version a while back, so that came in as well. So I'm sure she's listening to that today. But yeah, so I just wanted to let you guys know, struck out, pretty upset about it. But yeah, nothing else to say. Like I said, I will catch you guys when I start Onyx Storm. Hello guys, so just finished work and an exciting package came in. We got my package from Target, which is not that elusive deluxe special edition that they had, which, by the way, controversy. Apparently, they didn't even, like, there was, like, supposed to be original artwork in the book. It's not original. I saw that it was, like, pulled from, like, Dungeons and Dragons or something, so maybe I'm not that upset. I just really wanted those edges. So I pre-ordered the regular deluxe edition that's like available everywhere. And I'm so excited. So my dad also got me a copy. I wanted at least 2 copies because I have both sets of books in 2 different spots in my house. So here we go. Oh my God, she's really in here snug. Oh, she's so pretty. Oh my God. Look at her. Stunning. Just stunning. Oh my God, that is so pretty. And it's in perfect condition. Oh my God. Take the dust jacket off. So we have the map in the front. And then I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. And then this is the back. So beautiful. I am so freaking excited to start this book. I am 70% through Iron Flame, so I'm hoping to finish it tonight. That way I can start this bad boy tomorrow. But yeah, absolutely obsessed. All right, guys, Dom is here. Say hi, Dom.
Hi.
Victor's here.
Dying.
Okay. And me and Dom are starting Onyx Storm. I'm so freaking excited. Dom is not as excited because she is sad that the next book's not coming out for a long time. But alas, here we go. You guys, if Taryn is dead, I will riot. I'm just saying. It is the next day. Okay. I am on page 129. They got to Samara and then they had to fly. I'm going to explain all this in depth later, but I swear to God, if Taryn is dead, he can't be dead because Violet would know more than just like not feeling him. Like she would start to be like dying, I'm pretty sure. I'm like panicking. This cannot be happening. Taryn has to be okay. He has to be okay. Thank God, you guys. Thank God. Taryn lives for now. God, their dragons just be getting knocked out by this tornado left and right, bro. My God. Tornadoes be taking out dragons. She said that second impact I heard was his head. Freaking Taryn smashing his head. I can't even think about it. Like, because to me, you know how I imagine these dragons, okay? They're like my cats. Because to them, their dragons are like, you know, a part of their life. And like, I couldn't even imagine if all of a sudden I had my cat and then it just like smashed its head against something and then fell to the ground because of a fucking tornado. And then it got knocked out. It would stress me out. I'm literally gonna start crying because poor Taryn and poor, what's the other dragon's name? Trada. Ugh. Keep it together because I already know this cannot be the saddest part of this book, okay? Freaking Jesus Christ. There's this stupid silver-haired Venom. It gets me thinking. Because obviously Violet with her silver hair. Right. She's like, shit, the silver-haired Venom is still out here. And both dragons are as good as defenses without us. My God, her knee. I can't. It's like all dislocated and gross. And Garrick is there and he's like, you want me to put it back in? Ugh. Okay, the fucking silver-haired Venom just wielded lightning? What? Yeah, Violet, she's like, she wielded lightning, Venom aren't supposed to have signets, let alone mine. That's what I'm saying, like, I feel like they have to be connected somehow because she's a silver-haired Venom. And now she wields lightning? Like, what is she? Fucking Violet's dark twin or something? Ooh, she thinks that Garrick has a second signet. Because his signet is wind wielding, which I don't know why he couldn't do something about the tornado. But anyways, apparently Garrick, he's not part of their squad. And so Garrick was there because Xaden found out that Violet was sent to Samara. And so he was like, you need to go, like, be with her and protect her. And she was like, but that was like 40 minutes ago and you weren't at Samara. So, like, how are you here right now? And he was like, well, yeah. He was just, like, playing dumb. And so now she's, like, thinking she's, like, second signet. Like, does Garrick have a second signet? Is he, like, because I know that in, I think, Iron Flame, they talked about, what are they, time walkers, I think they're called, as, like, a signet, where they can just, like, walk through time or something. So I wonder if that's Garrick's second signet. Interesting. Keep that in the noggin. Oh my god. The whole reason they even went out to this little side village away from the wards was because Marin, one of the Griffin Riders' family, was staying there. And, ugh, that's so sad. The stupid Venom killed Marin's family just to lure Violet out there. Like, are you kidding me? She's like, oh, just the parents. Bitch. Ugh. The Silver Venom says, our paths are too intertwined to begin with such hostility. What does that mean? So she flicked Garrick. Okay, so the Venom flicked Garrick into the air. And so she's like, let him go. And she goes, I'll return the walker to the ground if you answer a single question. So he is a time walker. Oh my god, I knew it. What the freak? Okay, so the question that the Venom Theophany is asking, now tell me, which chose you first? The one who gifted you the power of the sky or the Irid? What the fuck is an Irid? I'm assuming iridescent because what's her name? Because Andarna has like those scales, so I'm assuming that's why her dragon kind is called an Irid. But oh my god, they know about Andarna. This chapter is wild. I have to text Dom ASAP. Wow. All I gotta say in my note. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna go. What's going on? I'm gonna go text Dom, and then I'm gonna do a formal update for you guys because this has just been a hodgepodge of clips that I don't really know what's going on. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, friends, so we're gonna do a formal update. I am on chapter 11, page 138 in Onyx Storm. Okay, so loving it so far. We're learning so much information. So the book starts off, the prologue is the last chapter of Iron Flame, but in Violet's point of view. So when Xaden is going down to talk to Jack, then you're getting Xaden's point of view. So then you go to chapter 1 and it's 2 weeks after that. And Xaden is obviously, so he's Venom. Scale and Xaden apparently aren't talking. Wild to me. And Tarn and Andarna, so Andarna is like all for Violet finding a cure for Xaden, and Andarna is like really dying to figure out and find her family line, her dragon family line. So she's like, Violet, let's do this, like, to whatever end, like, we will find a cure for Xaden. And Tarn is not happy about it. Tarn literally calls Xaden the Dark One now and like doesn't trust him, but is like putting his differences aside because obviously he like cares for Violet, loves Andarna and Scale. So he's putting his thoughts and feelings aside. So the only people that know that Xaden is Venom is Imogen, well, Violet, Imogen, Garrick, and Bodhi. And that's it. None of, like, Riddick Sawyer, like, none of her squad knows. Mira doesn't know. I don't know if Brennan knows. I feel like Brennan knows, but I don't know for sure. So anyways, so that's where we're at with Xaden. He's trying really hard to like keep his control. He's trying not to pull any power from the earth like Venom do in order to rapidly increase his progression up the Venom, like, I don't know, timeline from like being an initiate to, I think the next one's called an atrium or something. So anyways, so we don't get a whole lot of Xaden so far. Like, there's definitely little parts with him in it, but we don't get a lot. And he's like so scared to be alone with Violet because she has so much power. It would be so easy for him to just like suck the power from her. And but he's out there, he's like killing Venom, he's like trying to be Xaden, like he's trying to be the best person he can, okay? And he very clearly like still loves Violet, still loves his friends, like he's doing the best he can, okay? So now what's happening is everyone is still at Basgiath. They're not at Eratia. But after the war at Basgiath and Iron Flame, there's like Basgiath is separated. There's the Navarians and the Eratians, and they're considering everyone that left Basgiath to go to Eratia deserters and hate them, and they don't want anything to do with them. They don't trust them. They don't trust the Griffin Riders. But there is peace talks going on with Paromial in order to try to get peace and to have like another treaty signed and like get all these protections in place and to allow the Flyers to stay at Basgiath. But the problem is because of the Wardstone, the Flyers can't like wield or do anything within the wards, and so they're pretty much defenseless. So Mira and Violet end up Mira really ends up creating this like rune, like you know how they did in Iron Flame in that class, like on a board. She used 3 separate runes and created a rune, and I don't know exactly how it worked, but it's essentially treason because they went and they brought it to, I'm pretty sure they brought it to the Cenarium, which is like the talks. It's like all of like the king, all of the leaders of the different like nations or whatever, and they're trying to come up with these peace talks and agreeing on things. So they brought it to them and they like knocked it down, and they were like, nope, we're not gonna like risk the wards we have just to keep Flyers here. But of course that's not gonna fly with Violet, so her and her squad are like, we're gonna commit treason and we're going to mess with the wards, and we're gonna do it because Mira said it works and she's never wrong. So whatever, so they end up going down there, messing with the wards, and it works. The Flyers can wield, and it still keeps the Venom out, the Dark Wielders. So then they're sitting in, what class were they in? Battle Brief, and all of a sudden Dane's dad pops up in, and he's like, Violet Silverengale, you are hereby arrested for treason. And she's not letting anyone else get in her shit, like none of her squad members. So she's like, all right, bye. And so she goes. And before this, they gave Xaden the Duke of Tyrandor. Like, he's now the Duke of Tyrandor. So now he's in on the Paromial peace talks. So Xaden and Violet are like communicating. And she left her lightning patch at the scene of the crime so they would know it was her who did it, because she has it all planned out. And so she's talking to Xaden mind to mind. And he's like, so this is all part of your plan, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, did you guys like sign all the stuff that needed to be signed? And he goes, naturally, or else I wouldn't be here, like about keeping the Flyers in and all that, because they obviously realized with the wards, now the Flyers are able to be there. So that's what one of the people wanted. I feel like Viscount Takaris was his name. That's what he wanted out of everything, was he wanted his Flyers to be able to wield in the wards. So anyways, so Xaden's like, yep, everything's good to go, everything's signed. And he's the Duke. So now he's in on the peace talks. So then Violet's like, yep, I did all this stuff. And then someone else is like, well, what can we do about it? And Xaden's like, nothing, because all of you guys, and I think there's 6 of them or something, and the king signed all of the pardons for everyone that deserted and went to Eratia. So there's nothing you can do because they messed with the wards last night and you guys signed the pardons this morning. So fucking Violet had it all timed out perfectly to where they wouldn't get in fucking any trouble for this. So then one of the people was like, so she's just gonna go back to class? And they were like, yep, pretty much. So they fixed the wards so they still work, but the Flyers can wield, which is fabulous. And now the Flyers are gonna integrate into the squads, and everyone's gonna be all happy. Not so much, but you know. So anyways, so I think that's everything that's kind of happened so far. And then the next clips after that we'll talk about, so Dane's father is now the general of Basgiath, and obviously he has it out for Violet. He hates Violet. He hates them. He hates all of them. And so he invoked Article 8, which says that cadets in Basgiath can be sent to the front lines because of war. So now he sent them, her squad, to Samara to teach her a lesson. She's like, you guys have to go, I think, every week for 2 days. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you trying to get us killed? And he's pretty much like, if it happens, it happens, bro. And so then they get there and they overhear people talking about this village, and Marin, one of the riders, her family is in that village. And so she's freaking out, and they were like, well, let's take it to a vote, because if it was one of our family members, like, in the squad, then they would go. So they vote, and they vote to go to save her family. So then everything after that ensues. I feel like I'm probably missing stuff, but I'm really, really liking it. It sucks that we're not getting as much Xaden, but I understand why we're not getting as much Xaden, and at least he's not, like, leaving her. Like, he's still there and still cares about her and still loves her. Like, they tried sleeping together once, and he got nervous. Like, she finished, but he, I guess, like, was squeezing on the headboard and pulled a little bit of magic from the earth, and there was, like, scorch marks in the headboard. It was, like, so faint, so nothing about it. It's like, it's fine. And he's like, it's not fine. I'm never doing this again. So that whole situation is weird. But we'll see how that goes, because Violet is determined to find a cure for him, and Darna is also determined, and they're determined to find Darna's family. So we'll see. Things are happening. 18% through chapter 11. I'm excited. And I don't know. It's really, really good so far. I'm loving how much more of the world we're learning about, like the whole scenarium and like all the different leaders. Like the queen came and she talked to Violet and was like giving her access to her library along with Viscount Takaris. So she's gonna have access to all these like books that like normally she wouldn't, for history purposes and trying to find a cure. And come to find out, oh my god, and Darna is badass. She apparently, when she changes her scales, she can like burn venom, which venom aren't supposed to be burned or able to be burned. I don't know. And Darna's pretty badass. Like, I have a feeling we're just gonna learn so much about her. So anyways, I think that's everything. This has been a very long update, but I didn't talk to the camera all yesterday when Dom was here. But yeah, we had fun last night, read together. This part is just for Dom, if she ever watches this video, because we were supposed to start the book together. We had texted each other about it, but apparently, I didn't know this, she had already started and she was 7 chapters in. So last night we were sitting on the couch and I like was talking to her and I like looked over at her and her Kindle was on and it said chapter 7. And at that point, we had been reading for maybe 15 minutes. And I was like, ma'am, how are you on chapter 7 already? And she's like, so I may have started it before you texted me and told me that we were going to start it together. And I was like, bitch. I was like, bro, if you would have just told me, I would have started it too. Like, I was just waiting because I thought you were waiting. So that was funny last night. Like, but anyway, so she's really liking it. She like doesn't want to keep reading it because she's sad that it's gonna end. My mom finished it. My mom really liked it. She also said that it was really sad. So we'll see. That's the update for now. I will check you guys later. What does this mean? You might be angry when you realize I didn't wake you to say goodbye. When is he leaving? What does that mean? Also, love this recovered correspondence. His Grace Lieutenant Xaden Ryerson, 16th Duke of Tyrandor. Like, bro, could you get a longer title? The fact that Sagale, and freaking Xaden still aren't talking, it's like, bitch, don't you think that what happened was an important detail to share with your writer? Like, I get you're pissed at him for becoming a Venin and because he chose to, whatever, channel from the earth. But, come on now. Just freaking talk to the guy. How interesting that second signets are with the rebellion relics. Like, that's pretty freaking interesting. Because she was talking about here, you know, him, Xaden, Garrick, both having 2 signets, Intrinsic and the Shadows, and then Wind and time, and then Liam wielding ice. I don't remember what Liam's original one was. I can't, for some reason, I literally cannot remember. But yeah, but so they all had 2. So now it's like, okay, well, does Imogen have 2? Like, who else has 2? Very, very interesting. I truly love the idea of Violet going and questioning Jack on like all of the things, and her finally like getting some answers about things and whatever. And then the fact that he's like, well, what's to keep me from telling your favorite scribe? And Imogen, she's like, hard to talk about something you don't remember. Boom. Like, genius to freaking bring the mind wiper in. Like, I love it. What? Jacinia has been removed from the adept path? That's crazy. Oh my god, what is going on in this world? Alright guys, coming at you 175 pages in, and things have been happening. So they're adding new classes to Basgiath, and one of them is because they found out that the Venin can wield signets. And so now they're gonna do signet on signet training and wielding and like hands-on combat. And they've been having Xaden and Violet have been having an issue because they don't want Xaden to be on the wards because it's easier for him to drain and to essentially be a Venin. So they've been finding a way to like get him into the wards. And so apparently there's been like talks of this new class. And so all of a sudden Professor DeVera says, and luckily the East Ward, or the Eastern Squad or whatever, is going to give us one of their most powerful wielders to begin training, because they're going to rotate trainers so that everyone has like different experiences with different like signets and all this stuff. And of course Violet's like, oh my god, thank god we found a way to keep Xaden in the wards by being a freaking professor. Like, genius, he's going to be one of the hands-on professors. And then all of a sudden she names a code, Article 8, Section 1 of the Basgiath Code of Conduct, and her face falls. And Xaden goes, what's wrong? And Professor DeVera goes, everyone welcome to our newest member to our leadership team, Professor Ryerson. And then Violet, my ribs strain as if they can hold my heart together if they just squeeze tight enough. And then she says through the bond, I think our relationship just ended. Because he's a freaking professor now, like, with the blip, and she's a cadet, so I'm sure there's no, like, mingling amongst them. So, yes, we found a way to keep him in the borders, but now, or in the wards, but now, like, what's gonna happen to them? Like, I can't. So anyways, I'm on chapter 14. Ooh. Chapter 14, page 176. Oh, I just read Xaden's response. He's like, absolutely not. Where is it? Absolutely not. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, that's the update for now. Not too much has happened since the last check-in, but interesting. Good morning, friends. So today is Sunday, and it is around 9 a.m. Woke up about an hour ago. And I want to just give you guys a little Onyx Storm update while I make my coffee. So we are on chapter 23, page 283, about 35% through. I think the last thing, because I've been showing you guys like clips and stuff, was that Prince Halden, who's the king's son, showed up. And come to find out, Prince Halden and Violet used to date, and he cheated on her like a bastard. So Xaden is currently a professor, which also, wow, because they can't like be together because he's a professor. And so they're in the middle of this class, and Halden shows up, and he's like talking to Violet, and Xaden is teaching the class, and then he like hears Halden say some stupid shit to Violet,
about like, oh, can't you forgive me, like whatever. And Violet's like, no, like I'm good, bro. Like, I'm in love with Zayden, like we're good. And so then Holden's like, oh, okay, but like I'm so sorry, like whatever. And then Zayden like fucking pushes this guy with shadows and like knocks him over. I'm like, wow, Zayden. Because apparently the whole issue with him being Venom is it like makes his anger worse. Like, I don't know, he's just a hot mess. Like, he's trying so hard not to draw from, you know, anything other than scale. But he's, like, having a rough go at it. So, anyways. So that all happens. And then Violet ends up getting her dad's journal, which has, like, all of his research that he was working on before he passed away. And she has to enlist Dane to help because it's in the general of Basgiath's quarters, and obviously since her mom passed, it's Dane's dad now. So he gets it, and he gives it to Jesinia, and Jesinia gives it to Violet. So there's a 6-letter code, and then there's a piece of paper that says, like, your first love, like, which is, like, the hint. And so she's trying to figure it out, but there's 6 ink vials on it that if you get it wrong will explode and like ruin the journal. So she's like, I get one chance and one chance only. So they end up guessing the code. It's a dragon, and the dragon is Aimster, which is Violet's mom's dragon's name. Violet gets into the journal, and there's a note from her dad, and essentially is saying, like, don't trust anyone, pretty much only trust Mira, and all that. So Violet ends up reading the journal. She finds out all this information, and apparently thinks the dad thought that because something to do with one of the Crovish uprisings, and Tyrandor, I guess, was the last to have the communications with them. But this was like forever ago. Like, no one's talked to this particular island, and it's the Isle of Deverelli down in the south. And so the thing is that the Saranarium, which is the council of like all of the leaders, created this task force to go and find Andarna's kind. And Violet wanted to be in charge of the people because you have to trust who you're doing this with. But they end up denying her the request, and Professor Grady, who was their RSC professor, he ends up coming up with the squad. And the only person, like, Mira is part of it, and Zayden, obviously, but then other than that, it's like people that she doesn't trust, she doesn't know. Aura Banehaven, who is a wing leader for a different wing, who she's like gotten into fights with, like, she's like obviously not going to trust her. And Grady wants to search the north. He has like no real reason for it. That's just what he wants to do, apparently. So their first mission, she's like, whatever, we're going to do what you guys want to do. I don't think it's right, but okay. From what I'm gathering, the Viscount, is it Viscount? Yeah. Takaris, who's the guy from Calder. He's like the cat's uncle. He says, he's like, hey, I can get you guys a meeting with the Isle of Deverelli, their king. All he wants is you have to bring him this, I forget what it's called, but it's like a relic of sorts, like a super rare thing. So they're like, okay, we'll go on a mission, we'll get the relic, because they know where the relic is, and then we'll go, and then we'll go back home, and then we'll let them know we have the relic, because then Takaris has to like actually set up the meeting with the king from the Isle of Develli, whatever the place is called. So they go on this mission, and it's with the squad that no one trusts each other, no one really knows each other. And on this island, you're not supposed to wield magic because it was already drained by the venom. So because it was already drained, if you wield, it can pull the venom to you because you're wielding, there's magic. So they were told, do not wield magic unless it's absolutely necessary. So Aura, who's one of the wing leaders, she like puts her hands up. She hears a bottle move, and she puts her hands up like she's gonna fire wield. And Violet's like, what are you doing? Like, we can't wield, like, at all. And she's like, you should be prepped too, like, just in case something happens. And Violet's like, no, I'm not gonna risk it. So then, lo and behold, Aura gets, like, nervous about something, and she thinks she sees a venom. Ends up being Professor Grady, and boom, she lights him on fire. Okay, so now Professor Grady's dead. Then, now there's now, because she wielded, Venom and Wyvern are now here. And so now, everyone's scrambling, and Aura thinks she's getting picked up by her dragon. No, she ends up getting picked up by a wyvern, and their talon goes right through her spine. Dead. So now Aura and Grady dead. What a freaking mess. So then they get back. Everyone else survives. They get the relic. Mira found the relic. They get back, and the king or whatever from the Isle of Dorelli wants, accepts the meeting. Okay, but he will only talk with other, like, royalty. So they're bringing Prince Halden along. She's like, no, you know what? We went with your squad before. Didn't work out well. I want my own squad. So she ends up choosing Riddick. Because Riddick is a king. He was, like, so sweet. He's like, I want to go because nothing good ever happens when one of us is not with you. And, we haven't been separated since Athene or whatever. And so Violet's like, no, you're right. So she ends up choosing Xaden, Mira, Dane, because Dane speaks Crowlish. Apparently her dad taught him specifically for this purpose in case this ever needed to happen. So Dane, okay, let me start over. Jeez. So Dane, Xaden, Mira, Riddick, Violet, Halden, and then 2 Cat and her cousin. So I think that's everybody. So they're going to the Isle of the Isle in the south to meet with the king there. Okay, so they have to stop to see the Viscount first, Takaris. Once they see the Viscount, he's like, all right, I'm going to take Halden. You guys, it'll take you less time. I'm taking my ship, but it'll take you guys less time to fly there. So you meet us there. You guys get some rest. We'll be good. So they get there first, and then all the dragons and everything show up. But the problem is Devrelli doesn't have magic at all. So they can't communicate with their dragons. They have no magical powers at all. But shockingly, Violet can still communicate with Andarna and Taryn, but she's the only one. No one else can talk to their dragons, and Xaden and Violet can't talk to each other. But she notices Xaden has this overwhelming sense of peace because there's no magic. So for him, because he's now Venom, such a worry on his mind all the time about the magic and draining the magic. He notices that he has a sense of peace. So because he's feeling that way, he's just happy. He doesn't have to worry about fearing draining Violet. He doesn't have to worry about anything. He just has this overwhelming sense of peace, and he's smiling, and he's asking Violet about her childhood, and she can just sense that he's feeling so peaceful. And at the end of the chapter, she goes, this is the first time I've ever considered Takaris' offer, which was if she works for Takaris for X amount of years as his personal guard, then he can promise that Xaden, the dragons, and Violet can live in Takaris for the rest of their, or in Devrelli for the rest of their days. And so she's like, wow, for the first time she's actually thinking about it, because Xaden's not stressed. They can be each other, be themselves with each other, and not have to worry about him draining her, so they can have sex together and just be themselves again. And so that's where I'm at now. They just got to the Isle. They were going to have Halden meet with the king or whatever of Devrelli to give him this relic. And so that's going to take care of part of it. And then Violet's separate mission that she got from her father's journal is to meet a merchant that's at the Isle and we'll talk to them. So I don't know what's going to happen with all that, but that's where she's going to be going off to. So I will touch base with you guys later. It is so funny because everyone is so thrown by Xaden being so nice. He's giving Dane compliments. It is so crazy, how at peace he is in Deverelli. Like, I don't know, this makes me nervous for the fact that, like, what if Violet makes that deal? Like, just because, you know, Xaden would be happy? Oh, God. I don't know. Just make it a little vacation spot. Bye. You don't need to go there full time. But they're about to go into the shop with the person to meet the merchant that the dad was talking about. So I'm interested to see what's going to go down. But I just need to say, everyone is, like, shocked. They're like, who is this guy? And what happened to our Xaden? Like, everyone's like, Violet, did you give him something? Which I just find comical because, yes, he's being, like, overly nice, which I love that because I love Xaden, but I just think it's funny. Oh my god, they got to the shop and I can't. You must be Asher Sorengel's daughter. Here to collect the books he wrote for you. We're about to get so much freaking info. The freaking shopkeeper thinks that Xaden is Dane because of how her dad, like, described him. That is so funny. Well, he described you almost perfectly, Dane Atos. It's like, nope, wrong love interest. Sorry. So that's crazy. So her dad said that she had to bring something of value or whatever to trade for the books, or to trade to Narelle for whatever she had. And it wasn't Violet's mind. And so here Narelle is saying, while he was busy raising Violet for this particular mission, your mother was raising you. So it's just crazy to think how much more, like, involved and in depth this all is. And the fact that they left the bookstore with 6 more books and every one of them is passcode protected. That's insane. And then, where is it? The part... Yeah, so here's the part where she... like, Violet's job is essentially, like, has 3 questions that Narelle is to ask, and she has to answer them correctly in order to get the books. So, so one of the questions, it's about how her father alludes to the Croveland uprising falling apart because of Deverelli, but doesn't get into specifics. So then, essentially what happened is, she says why, and then it's because Croveland didn't keep their part of whatever deal they made with Deverelli. So rather than lose their reputation, Deverelli withdrew their brokerage, hence the removal of their other Isle troops, and then told the Promish King Regent where to find the rebels and ended the rebellion. But she says not enough. Why did it fall apart? And essentially what happened is that Deverelli brokered a deal with Krovla and an unnamed Isle, that the Isle would provide the army and Krovla would provide dragons. And then when Krovla wasn't able to do so, the whole deal fell apart. The Midnight Massacre happened, and then Krovla remained a part of Peromio. And it's just crazy, like, this whole thing, because obviously then Violet goes into how Dane's dad, like, knew something about it, and then at some point her dad stopped trusting his dad. So all of this is just, we're getting into some serious politicking here, and I am very intrigued to figure out more info. Okay, so that's right. That was this is the whole point of Halden meeting with Deverelli. Jesus. Because they want to get permission for them all to use Deverelli as a home post. That way the other Isles are, like, within reach, and wants to, like, broach the topic of the 7th breed to Deverelli, because obviously they were far more involved in anything. But yeah, so they want to use Deverelli as a home post and then, like, go to all the other Isles, which I think is interesting. So that is kind of the whole point of why they needed that relic, and then why they needed Halden to come, because the guy of Deverelli would only talk to Halden with that relic. Yes, I knew it. There's no magic here. She's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, there's no magic here. I can fuck you as many times as we want. As many times as you can take, and I can't lose control. Oh, shit. This may really... this may really make Violet rethink her whole offer from Viscount Takaris. Sheesh. I can't. These two are so cute. I'm never running. It's you and me, no matter what. I love them. Well, so much for Takaris' offer, because she says, you know, we could stay here, and she's like, here is in Devrelle. And, you know, she's like, if Taryn and Donna agree, you and Scale could stay here. And then Xaden said she's in pain, meaning Scale. And they're like, all the dragons are. Not that they'll admit it, but I don't think they can survive, or at least thrive the way they do away from magic. So much for that offer. But at least they were able to have sex and be happy for a little bit. That's the king of Devrelle's name. I can never freaking remember it. King Cortland. But what do you mean he's decided to keep Halden and then freaking Xaden? It's too bad. That's crazy. Like, what does that even mean? Keep Halden. And now Xaden has to go and freaking talk to him because he's the only other aristocrat. Jesus Christ. This is becoming a mess. So much for their sex-filled night. I freaking can't. They get there and the guards are like, you may not enter. And Xaden's like, you know, I'm Xaden Ryerson, the Duke of Tyrandor. And they were like, and you are? And he goes, my consort. And freaking Taryn, he's like, our congratulations or commiserations in order. I freaking love Taryn. I can't. Oh my god. So the reason that Halden was kidnapped is because he's a freaking idiot. So he offered the thing that he wanted. The, what's it called? The stupid thing that they went to the other island for. That's what he's offering to King Cortland. Okay. So not only does he offer him that, he was like, and I'll also offer you this dagger. And boom, King Cortland loses his shit because it's not his dagger to offer. It's actually apparently Xaden's dagger. So that's why he kidnapped the prince, because he's like, you're a liar, you're a hoe, and I hate you, and you're done. I'm not listening to you anymore. And then he like stabs, Jesus, he stabs Halden in the hand. Okay. So then, because now it is Xaden's dagger, King Cortland says, I assume you would like the same deal that he asked for. And Xaden was like, I don't know what Halden requested, but, so this is what they're looking for. We'd like to reopen diplomatic channels and secure permission to use Viscount Takaris' manor as a stopping point for a riot of no more than 8 dragons and an equal amount of griffins for the purposes of a search party, which would entail securing hunting rights of the wild game for said creatures and promise security and safety for all parties. So that's what they're asking for. And then all of a sudden, freaking King Cortland is like, ooh, don't mind these. And these giant 3 white panthers come out. And they're like his pets. And so now obviously everyone's on edge because they will eat them. So they're like, what is going on? And then the king is like, don't worry, everything's fine. Just remember, Prince Halden, you know, my panthers earned their dinner. Do you know what their dinner is? Captain Anna Windshire's head, which was Halden's guard. So not only did this King Cortland kidnap Halden, stab Halden in the hand, and then he killed Captain Anna Windshire and served her head on a platter to his white panthers to be eaten in front of everybody. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? Like, absolutely wild. Why would they even want to work with someone like this? I mean, I know why, because they need to have like a stopping point. But geez, freaking Cortland is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So I don't know what's going to happen from here, but damn. Poor Captain Windshire. Okay, I literally can't. Ooh. Halden is a freaking idiot. He was like, you murdered my guard. King Cortland goes, your thief was found in my treasury with 6 stolen treasures on her person and a list of 5 more that she had yet to attain written in your handwriting. Are you kidding me? You're coming here to secure diplomatic rights and to help better this country or whatever for the war the war effort. And you have the balls to try and steal from this guy? Okay, you know what? No offense, Captain Anna Windshire, but you kind of deserved it. And Halden, you should be kept here. You're a piece of trash. And Violet's like, you didn't. And Halden's like, they're all the items that belong to us. It's not stealing to take back what's rightfully ours. Bitch, I freaking can't. I don't even know what to say. Ugh. Death. That's what the penalty is. It's like, well, bye. Goodbye, Halden. It's been real. Okay, guys, this is not going well. Oh my god. Halden is a freaking idiot. Okay. So according to this, Halden's been like, I don't know, playing the system or something. I don't know what's going on with Halden, but he's a fucking psychopath. So he like surges forward, topples over the table. He's getting pissed. He's like, you took advantage of our desperation, accepted priceless magical artifacts under unfair terms, and now you execute my personal guard. And then Xaden's like, enough, Halden. And he's like, he no longer speaks for us. If you will not accept the deal with Navarre, then accept it with Tyrandor. And I'll assure you that the only Ryans on your shore will have Eurasian riders and their flyer counterparts. And he goes to give the king of Deverelli the emerald. Ooh, I almost dropped my Kindle. The emerald studded hilt, or she sees the emerald studded hilt, which is the dagger, and I don't know what dagger, because I'm blanking. Is that the dagger that his dad gave him or something? I can't remember what the dagger is. But anyways, so then Halden's like, absolutely not. I'm the one that has the authority. He has nothing. He like got this title by blackmail, like whatever. So then Cortland sighs, reaches for his drinks, and he goes, I've heard enough, and this grows tedious. Takaris may live. Kill the rest. Bitch, I can't. I freaking can't. The next thing, sometimes diplomacy is best served at sword point. Journal of Captain Lilith Sorengale. Well, that's about to happen because no one is going to let Violet and Xaden die. That's faux show. Holy cow, this chapter was insane. So even though there's no magic at the island, someone started to choke Violet. And we all know how Xaden feels about that. So it seems, from what I'm gathering, it seems like because she had her conduit with her, which obviously still holds magic from before. So apparently he drained the magic from her conduit. And so obviously draining magic, so then his irises turned red. He killed like 12 people, which you're not supposed to do in the eyes of diplomacy. Or why I keep saying it like that. In the eyes of diplomacy and keeping politics at bay, you're not supposed to kill people, even though they were attacked. So he kills these people, and he's like, Violet, I'm so sorry. Like, and Violet realizes how he did it because of her conduit, and she's like, it's okay. Like, and he faces her and opens his eyes, and you can see he has the red irises. And obviously no one knows. So she's like, okay, you're gonna go. You're gonna sit right there. You're gonna close your eyes, and you're gonna put your head in your lap. She's talking to Taryn and Andarna, and is like coming up with a plan where Andarna is gonna capture one of the panthers and just hold the panther in her mouth. And they tell Taryn, get Scale over here. We need to get, Xaden and Scale out of here. So then Cortland is confused. He's like, how the F did that just happen? Because there's no magic here. And essentially she's like, listen, okay, you guys came at us. A. B, if you take a peek, your panther is in my dragon's mouth. And Darna's got her. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. So then Violet starts striking negotiations. And she wants the same exact thing that Xaden said, but wants Xaden to be pardoned for any crimes, and he is allowed to come back. And she goes, and to sweeten the deal, I'll give you one other thing, other than the that relic that he already got. And she gives him a piece of a dragon shell. And he's like, oh, a dragon shell, who cares? I've had a bunch of those. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all. And she's like, you're wrong, bitch, because this dragon shell is from my beautiful Andarna. And she's an Irid, one of a kind, 7th breed, okay? She's the kind we're looking for. And then he's like, I don't think so. And then he like looks over to her, and Darna's like blended into the vegetation. So all you see is the panther like floating in midair. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll take that shell. Thanks so much. Okay, so then they strike a deal. They get what they want with using Viscount Takaris's place. Xaden's pardoned and whatever. And then King Cortland's only other addendum is he's like, yeah, Holden's not allowed here anymore. And she was like, yep, done. And he's like, Violet. And she's like, done. And then at the end of the chapter, Cortland is like, I have something else that you might find interesting and that I can broker a deal for you. And she's like, I'm listening. So I'm interested to see what that is. But that was a wild chapter. I can't, like, I love Xaden, okay? And, like, I understand when Violet's in danger, like, your instincts kick in, and, like, and that's why he turned Venom in the first place, because if Violet was dying, he could feel it. He needed to kill the sage he pulled from the earth. And don't get me wrong, love is fabulous and love is great, but at the same time, it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, Violet has shown time and time again that she can handle herself, and I just think that, like, you risking it is insane to me. Like, you pulling from her conduit because she's in danger and she could die, so you're gonna pull them, like, can you just let Violet take care of herself? I don't know, that whole, like, it kind of annoys me, because then he, like, feels so guilty after her, and then she's, like, got to make him feel better for him fucking up. And it's like, that's not her job to make you feel better. You should just not fuck up. And I understand he's doing it because he loves her and all this, and I totally can, like, understand that. But at the same time, like, I just think that, I don't know, I'm kind of getting annoyed with the whole, that's whenever Xaden drains, is when, you know, when Violet's in danger, or Violet this, Violet that. It's like, okay, like, you're gonna make her start to feel like more guilty than she probably already does, because the first reason, or the first time you drew from the earth was because you felt she was dying and this and that. And would she do the same thing? Probably. But I also think that as much as Violet loves Xaden, I think that Violet would put the best interest of the continents first, just from what I'm seeing from her. And all Xaden has done is prove, nope, I don't care about anybody else. All I care about is Violet. And it's like, that's great, but at the same time, like, there's so many other people you need to protect that I just think it's kind of crazy, because I definitely feel like if roles were reversed, Violet would be putting the continents first and putting the kingdom first and saving as many people as possible. And I just don't know. And I think that flipped in Xaden. Like, it was probably an iron flame. Like, I don't know. His whole mentality just changed. And now he's, like, all about just Violet. And it's like, it's a lot. Like, and that has to be a lot on Violet, too. Like, okay, like, you don't need to save me every time. We need to put the kingdom first. Like, I don't know. And she's obviously not expressing that's how she feels. I'm just saying that's just how I'm reading into it. Like, I just feel like Xaden is being very, like, way too overbearing. Like, he's being, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he still lets her do whatever she wants, but he's being very Dane-esque, how Dane was in the first book, if you ask me, to where he's doing everything he can to, like, to save her and protect her when she can protect herself, okay? She has 2 dragons that would not let her die, okay? So I just don't understand why Xaden feels that need to, like, let me drain from the conduit, let me kill all these people, let me screw every fucking thing up, and now I've drained and now I'm further into the venom process. It's like, my guy, you were doing so good. Can we just not? So, I don't know. That's where I'm at with that. Kind of annoyed with Xaden at this point, to be honest with you. So we'll see how it goes, but that's the update for now. So he's not completely back to normal. His eyes from the alloy and Deverelli, I don't know what that part means, but the flecks in his eyes didn't go back to gold. They're still amber. So he's definitely getting worse. Oh my God.
god. I don't even know anymore. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this second year, they're in their like new signet wielding class. And this second year, like puts her hands on the mat and drains a circle around her hands, leaving the mat gray. And boom, car kills her dead because she's a fucking venom. Like, are you kidding me? My god, these things are everywhere. So we've got to change of plans all of a sudden. They're going off the rails because they can't get what they need to get done in 5 months and come back and check in with the scenarium. So their whole plan was like, oh, we're gonna go to Deverelli and all these aisles, and then we have to come back every time and check in. They're like, no, we're just gonna go. We're not gonna check in. So they decide to do that. They're not telling anybody besides the people in the squad, obviously. And then Halden is being a fucking annoying butt face, and so all of a sudden another dragon lands, and who gets off the dragon? Arik, who is also Cam, Halden's brother. So he is royal bloodline. So no one needs Halden now. Bye-bye Halden. So obviously Halden's upset, and he's like, bro, you're not going. Like, you're literally young and you're gonna die. And Halden's like all upset, and he's like, Violet. And Violet's like, I won't let anything happen to him. And Halden nods once. I'll hold you to it, all of you. So let's hope nothing happens to Cam, because that would be tragic. But anyways, so now Halden's out, thank God, because I like Arik, he's cool. So here we go. We are going off to Deverelli and searching these aisles for the 7th dragon. And something weird, Mira took personal leave for the first time ever. And she's like not talking to Violet about it. She's not telling her why. She's like nothing. So Violet's like, the flip, like, what is going on? What aren't you telling me? So I want to know what's going on with Mira, because she's not telling Violet something. And I just don't get it. What the heck could this mean? They're on one of the aisles that they're trying to, like, find Andarna's family at. They have to do this challenge, and a bunch of the attendants show up, and they all have silver hair. What is going on? Oh my god. One of the kids has a silver tip braid. Friggin' Xaden catches on. What is going on here? So they're at the Isle of Dune, and in order to talk with their queen, they have to like defeat their strongest warriors. So they of course put Xaden. So then they cut Xaden's arm. It's like part of the process. He bleeds, and then they're like, we know you guys don't have your magic, so we'll do another opponent. And so then Dane gets chosen, and so then Dane, they just cut his arm, they don't even tell him. And Dane goes, yeah, all right. Like, he gets this is happening. So then Dane is fighting, and then all of a sudden the lady the priestess, she cuts Violet's arm, and she's like, yep, you're the third fighter. And I'm like, oh my god. So now Xaden, Dane, and Violet are all three gonna be fighting against their strongest warriors without their magic. And I am so interested to see how this goes. Oh, God. Here we go. Leave it to freaking Andarna to just randomly show up. I look at the statue, and I would almost swear her eyes flash golden and glance my way for a second, because she's blending in. I freaking can't with her. What is going on here? There was lightning during their battle. Dane, Xaden, and Violet survived. And Darna's pissed. And there was lightning situation, and Xaden is like, was that you? And she's like, nah, there's no magic here. But over here, she said, the air charges in a way I'm too familiar with. We're in danger. The heat within me snaps outward and breaks my voice, and lightning streaks. So I know there's no magic, which means she can't be Venom, right? Because she can't pull from the earth. But like, then what happened? So, I don't know. This is interesting. I want to know more about this. Freaking Violet's opponent was the queen. Violet's like, I didn't know who you were. She's like, you weren't supposed to. I can't. Oh my god. She can't believe she fucking beat the queen, bro. Well, they struck out on the Isle of Dune because the queen wanted dragons in order for them to fight with Navarre and Arisha and all that. And obviously they're not willing to give them up.
So the queen said, bring us, say, 12 eggs, 2 of each breed, and I'll bring my army to the continent. And she was like, yep, my dad was right. They weren't looking for feather tails because of their gifts. It was because they thought they were malleable, because they think that full-grown dragons are too, like, a-holy. So, but obviously they're not gonna fucking give up dragons. Like, come on now. Ugh, I can't. What? I cannot. I knew this was gonna happen. They just got to the Isle of Hedotia, I think it's called. Hedotis, which is like, Dune was war, I think. Hedotis, is like knowledge and all this stuff. So the second in command meets them at the beach, and they're like super wicked nice, and he's like, oh, you can stay here, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, darling, to his wife, won't you come say hello? And he's like, oh, I'm here, my love. As she walks up, her dark brown eyes settle on Xaden immediately, and they flare in blatant shock. And her husband is like, is there a problem? And she studies Xaden, and Xaden is like practically petrified into a piece of stone beside me. Garrick goes, oh shit. Oh my god. And then Talia goes, Xaden, is that really you? And Xaden reaches across me, wraps his hand over my hip like I need protection. Mom, we are about to meet Xaden's mother. Oh my god. What could happen here? Oh my god. Crazy. I cannot. Here we go, guys. Isle of Hedotis with Xaden's mommy. Let's go, Mommy Ryerson. This can't be good. Papa Sorengale didn't really trust them that much, it seems. He said, it has been the experience of my lifetime to spend these months with others who value knowledge just as reverently as I do. But their intelligence and their wisdom inspire me. Their artifice terrifies me. Boy. And it's Hedotis, Isle of Hedion. That's where it is. But I don't know. Artifice terrifies me. Let's go. Poor Xaden. Why did she deserve my 10 minutes when she fed me chocolate cake on my 10th birthday and vanished later that night? She wants to have dinner, but he is very conflicted, and I don't really blame him. Oh my god. Does Xaden have siblings? I have a feeling. All right, guys, update. We've had a death happen. So they're on the island of Xenial, which is the god of luck, and the way to gain access. Oh, also, let's wrap up what happened at the last island with Xaden's mom. They tried to kill Xaden and Garrick and Violet with poisoning their chocolate cake. Like, that's rude. If someone tried to poison my chocolate cake, I would have been like Garrick too and eat it right away. So, but anyways, they ended up saving Garrick, thank God, because she had the book from her dad. And then Violet is such a freaking genius, I swear to God. She like preemptively thought all this stuff through, and she gave all of the mom's husband, like all these people this tea, and this tea poisoned them. And so as soon as all that stuff with Garrick happened, she was like, ooh, Uno card reverse, you're poisoned too. So unless you want to die, you're going to tell me what's going on and how I can save him. And they refused to do so. But luckily, Violet had a backup plan, and she had Andarna follow their 2 young sons to their parents, their like grandparents' house. That way, if they didn't give them the antidote, or if they wouldn't ally, wow, if they wouldn't ally with them, then Andarna was gonna like eat the children, which I don't think Andarna would actually eat the children, but you never know. So anyways, so now that island is allying with Violet and them pretty much out of fear and necessity, but hey, they have an alliance now. So then we get to this island, they show up, everyone is so excited when they get there, they're all very confused, and this mistress of whatever shows up, and she's like, okay, in order to be granted access to our island, you just have to play a little game, okay? You're gonna receive a gift, and you just need to be thankful for the gift, no matter what it is, and we'll be judging your reactions, okay? So so we're gonna go through people's gifts, okay? So Mira got wine, love that for her. Violet got a broken compass. Xaden got, what the hell did Xaden get? Oh, he got an empty box. Riddick got kissed on the cheek twice. Dane got slapped in the face. That was pretty fucking funny. Drake got a kitten, which that whole scene was hilarious because Xaden's like, what are we gonna do with that the entire time? And and Violet's like, looks like we're gonna have to stop Andarna from eating it. And then Kat got a necklace. What else? I think that's everybody. So then the last person to go is Traeger, and Traeger is a Griffin rider, and him and Kat have been like together, and they're so cute together. And so he goes up next, pulls the card, and he pulls the arrow. And then boom, boom, dead. An arrow protrudes from his heart. He's dead before Riddick and I can catch him. Freaking dead. Traeger dead by an arrow. Now what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to be gracious that their fucking friend just got killed? Because I don't see that happening. Whew. Anyways, so I don't know what's about to happen. That was the end of that chapter, but that's freaking insane. Poor Kat. Like, she finally finds someone, like, after all that nonsense with Xaden, and she finally finds someone, and he fucking gets shot by the god of luck. Are you kidding me? Like, that doesn't seem lucky to me. Whew. So that's very depressing. We now have one person down, and this is just not gonna go well. So I'll keep you guys posted. Oh my god, they freaking found the Irids at the place where they went to go burn Traeger and his griffin. All because, look at this. Just look at this. And it can freaking talk to Violet. What the hell? This is hilarious. So all the Irids can talk to whomever they want. And so, what's her name? Violet and Riddick can hear, plus Taryn and Andarna. And now Riddick's like, are we gonna have to hear her whole life story again? And she starts going literally from the beginning. I blinked in and out of consciousness in my shell years ago. Riddick goes, we're gonna be here for a while. And he just drops in the sand. Oh my god, I'm so happy that she found the Irids. I can't wait to see where that goes. Aw, poor Taryn. One of the dragons yelled at Andarna, and he's like, you will not raise your voice to her. And she looks at him and she goes, don't ruin this for me. And he got so offended. Poor Taryn. Oh my god, they said there's hundreds of them. Oh my god. Andarna is so freaking precious. I can't. Like, she's explaining all this to the Irids, and they seem like a-holes, by the way. And she has a hurt wing, and they're like, let me see your wing. Like, being so mean to her. And she's so sweet. She's like, it's okay that I can't carry Violet, because we have Taryn, and he works with me every day, and the elders too. And when I get tired, he carries me, but only on long journeys. I'm like, bitch, you're precious. Ugh, if anything happens to Andarna, I swear I will riot. Violet, they're so rudely polite. Uh-oh. And Darna's like, did I pass the test? And they're like, what test? She goes, you were testing me, right? To see if I can visit the den. And they were like, you were never being tested. You were. And then they failed her. Poor Violet. Violet got failed. Jesus. Oh, and Darna, Violet has never failed me. Oh my god. She's like, Violet loves me. The other Irid is like, she uses you. She took advantage of a vulnerable child. She used your power as an instrument of warfare. This is not going well at all. Oh, interesting. So they're saying to her that they think that she's a weapon. And she's like, thanks. And they're like, it's not a compliment. Our breed is born for peace, not violence. You were left behind as the criterion, the measurement of their growth, their ability to choose tranquility and harmony with all living things. We hoped when you would return to tell us that the humans had evolved, that they had blossomed under the ward stones and no longer use magic as a weapon. But instead, you have shown us the opposite. And Dragonkind has not learned their lesson either. Sheesh. Will you... Oh, what does that say? Oh, well, you... And he looks to Atrum. Gifted your human with ice. And then he looks at Taryn. Yours wields lightning. Sheesh. This is not going well. But that's so interesting that they I mean, she knew that she was left, technically, specifically for Violet. But it's so interesting that they left her there. Her kind left her there to, like, test the growth of humankind. Like, that's so interesting. Who would have thunk it? They definitely failed then. Although Violet is like, the sweetest person ever. So it's like, they need to calm down. Whoa. One of the male dragons says to Andarna, and you, our very hope, have handed this human something far more dangerous to wield, haven't you? What the F does that mean? What the F? My God, what is going on in the House of Commons? I mean, I'm trying to think if I remember Violet doing anything besides the time-stopping thing when it came to Andarna, and I don't. So I don't know what the heck this guy's talking about. This dragon. Yeah, she's like, I haven't manifested a second signet yet. Oh, God. The Irid dragon says, you have weaponized your magic, even your tail, because all the Irids have feather tails, and Andarna chose her tail, and she went with a scorpion tail like Daddy Tarn, and so now they're annoyed with her. You've become the very thing we abhor. Wow, if I can talk. You've become the very thing we have... Okay, it's just a word. Read it. You've become the very thing we abhor, the horror we fled from. Oh, Violet. She's like, she is not a horror. She will protect Andarna at all costs. Andarna, she's like, you will not return with us. You will not help us achieve the peace you worship. He's like, nope. We watched some of your journey and feel it is not peace you seek. How has he watched some of their journey? What is he talking about? Uh-oh, Xaden and Garrick are almost there. That's not going to go well. Uh-oh. Andarna is asking about the Dark Wielder's cure because we all know it's what Xaden needs. She goes, is that the Dark Wielder's cure to evolve? The female's golden eyes narrow to slits. There is no cure. God damn it! So now what's gonna friggin' happen to Xaden? I was really counting on these Irids, and they are really letting me down. Oh, you go, Andarna. She's like, you guys preach peace while only having known its privilege. You are all a disappointment to me. Mm-hmm. That's so rude. He goes, we have a long flight ahead, and there's nothing to be gained here. So that means that they must have been following, because they can go invisible, so they must have been following, like, them when they're traveling from isle to isle. Because originally when they got to this isle, they did like a, what is that called? Recognizance? Is that the right word? And they didn't see anybody. No dragons, nothing. So they must have followed them there. So that's not their home base. So I'm interested where their home base is. But he was like, the world was not ready for you, and though it's not a fault of your own, we can't accept you. F you, homie. Jeez. They go, our majority has determined you are irid in scale and name only. You will not be allowed entrance to our isle, nor instruction in our ways. We part here and wish you peace. And Darna says, I wish I'd never met you. And then they all leave. Freaking rude, bro. Uh-oh. The irid called Zayden an abomination. Looks like they know what he is. Oh, they're talking to Scale. How could you align yourselves with this abomination? Sheesh. Oh my god, Zayden is such a fucking idiot. The rims of his irises shine bright red. I fucking can't. He did it again. You know what? I'm so sick of this guy. Oh. Oh no, now Riddick knows. He goes, I'm guessing he's why you've been so hung up on finding a cure. Jesus Christ. Well, you know what? It's fucking good more people know because, ugh, Zayden is driving me nuts. Oh no, Riddick. He goes, not a single word from you, Dark Wielder. Sheesh. Vi, you've got one chance to come clean and tell me what the actual fuck is going on. Riddick ain't taking no shit. Ugh, God, these two are driving me nuts. She's like, oh, about Zayden. He really is beautiful. Everything about him lists all his good qualities. And then she goes, and whatever parts are missing, we'll live without them. He's still whole to me as long as we can keep him from channeling from the earth. Bitch, well, you're not doing a very good job because he's done it quite a few times. Riddick is smart. He's making her draw a line in the sand. Like, okay, if he gets to X, Y, or Z, like, there needs to be a logical line. Like, you can love him and want to protect him at all costs, but there needs to be a logical line of when you will not protect him or when I can turn him in or something. So she finally gave him that line, and it's hypothetically he'd have to kill another rider without cause, hurt civilians, hurt his friends, dragons, or her. So we'll see what Riddick does with this information. He says he's going to keep it from everybody, and he's going to try to help find a cure, even though they just said there's no cure. So we shall see. Oh my god, and he wants her to tell Rhiannon, Sawyer, and Jasenia, which I don't blame him because it's their squad. And like he said, he's like, if you're not telling us, then it's because you know you're doing something wrong. So he ain't wrong there. Freaking Riddick. He goes, and just so you know, that strike up there wasn't between us. You know, us. Because whenever freaking Zayden and Violet have sex, they lightning wield and all that. Well, they're back. And you would think that General Atos would have court-martialed them right away, but because he has them all separated, well, she got a letter from Theophany, and pretty much Theophany knew where she was the whole time, so that's great. And so she's nervous about that. But the king is so happy that he has Auric/Cam that he's like, no punishment shall come of them. So they aren't even going to get in trouble, so I'm interested to see what happens. Hello, friends. Today is Monday. Currently 557 pages into Onyx Storm. And there's a new Shadow Wielder in town. Lynx just manifested, who's a first year. And he is manifesting shadows. And Violet goes, I don't understand. You're our generation's Shadow Wielder. And in his head, he says, not anymore. Magic knows. He's the balance. So, interesting. Okay, folks, we have lots of things happening. First of all, Sawyer is badass because he's back on his dragon after losing his leg, and we love him. And Riddick is being awfully, like, huggy, and it's actually really funny. He's going around hugging everybody all the time. So they're all in Eratia together, the whole squad, Bodhi and Dane, everyone, for rune lessons. And originally Zayden wasn't supposed to be there, but now Zayden's there. And, you know, Violet and Zayden are both sleeping. And the beginning of the chapter was really weird, because as you're reading it, it sounds like you're, like, in Zayden's point of view, but you're not. You're in Violet's. And then she, like, looks at her hand, and she sees that it's not her hand. It looks like Zayden's hand. And so then they both wake up. They're apparently both having nightmares. But then it ends up that it was Zayden's POV, because Violet was in Zayden's head. And she's describing the whole dream, and Zayden's like, okay, what happens next? What happens next? What happens next? And apparently it was his dream. So I was correct in thinking that we were in Zayden's POV, because Violet's like, oh yeah, I could hear Andarna and blah, blah, blah. No, every time they're talking about she's gonna die, she's this, she's that, it's talking about Violet, and Zayden is trying to protect Violet. So, prediction / thoughts: Violet is intrinsic and can read dreams? I don't know. That is so freaking weird. I'm sure we'll find out very soon. But all he said was, it's my hand. You were in my dream. So, let's go. Okay, so Zayden and Violet are talking. She says it's 2 hours later, and I've told him about every dream I can remember with the sage, and Zayden's had every single one. So then Violet's like, do you think we're sharing the same dream? And he's like, no, they're my dreams. He's like, I've had them at least once a week since Resin, and more frequently since Basgaeth. But I almost never realize they're nightmares when I'm in them, and when I do, I wake up feeling like someone was there with me, watching, like tonight. And then they're like, well, maybe it's the bond. I don't know. Because obviously she still has to manifest her second signet because of Andarna. So, I don't know. Okay. Another update. I should just keep this thing rolling. So, they're talking back and forth about dreams. And she's telling him about the dream that she had when she was in Samara, and she was picking up, like, a family portrait, and Kat was there. And Zayden's like, you were in Marin's dream. And she's like, that's not possible. Maybe with you because of the bond, but there's no way to trip into someone else's dream. And he goes, there is if you're a dream walker. Oh my God. Are we getting her second signet? That's crazy. And she goes, there's no such thing as dream walking. And the Irids told her that she gave me something more dangerous than lightning. Ooh, that camera's so they were saying, I dropped my camera, so I don't really know where I left off. But, so she says, that's not possible. And he says, if you're a dream walker. So then she goes, there's no such thing as dream walking. And the Irids told Violet told Andarna that she gave Violet something more dangerous than lightning. And he goes, it's absolutely more dangerous than lightning because it's a form of intrinsic. And she's like, I don't read minds. That can't be right. And she's like, you don't read them. You walk straight into them when unconscious. True. And now she's like, let's see. She's going to talk to Andarna. Oh my God. So she says to Andarna, is it true? And Andarna goes, I didn't choose it any more than Taryn chose lightning, but you have been known to wander while dreaming. It's harmless. You're mostly drawn to him. Taryn growls, and he goes, and you said nothing? And then Andarna goes, you didn't inform her the first time she wielded lightning. She needed to discover it herself. Oh boy. Ugh. So she's oh my God, this is freaking crazy. So Zayden obviously also has a form of intrinsic with his whole reading intentions thing. And now she also has an intrinsic thing. Like, that is so freaking weird. Whew. So now she's trying to figure out how she developed this, because you develop your signets based off your unique bond with your dragon and the things that you need. So the whole thing with Xaden being able to read intentions, it was logical because he needed to know everyone's intentions, because he needed to keep the Mark One safe. And then she goes, but there's no part of me who wants or needs to know what anyone else is dreaming. And then it clicks, and she's like, except when it did, when I was cut off from Andarna, when she slept all those months. Xaden goes, that makes sense. His signet doesn't work on dragons. And he's like, I'm guessing yours doesn't either. So you unknowingly developed it on a human. Interesting. So because she obviously couldn't get into Andarna's dreams, then she just became a dreamwalker for other people. That's crazy. He's like, that's what makes this exceptionally dangerous, because Xaden can only read someone while they're awake, and he's limited by their ability to shield, but no one can shield while they're dreaming. Xaden goes, you could potentially walk straight into Melgren's dreams, and he couldn't stop you and probably wouldn't even know. Oh God, he's like, Violet, they'll kill you if they find out. It won't matter that you're their best weapon. The best weapon they have against the Ven and against me. They'll snap your neck and call it self-defense. That's kind of crazy. I feel like dreamwalking's not that big of a deal. Like, I mean, I get it, yes. If she's doing it intentionally and learns how to, like, hone it, and then is, like, in everybody's dreams, like, Melgren makes sense. He's what, the general or whatever. So I could see that, but, like, dreams, like, who really cares? Like, I feel like dreams aren't that big of a deal. I don't know. I guess we'll see how she hones in on it, but interesting second signet for sure. Right, exactly. Like she said, she goes, it's just dreams. If it's just dreams, it's like tripping into someone's fears, not their actual thoughts. So then Xaden says, except I think you meddle, because I wanted to channel on that field and found myself raising my hand instead. Huh. So not only is she like in their dreams, but she's meddling in their dreams. Oh my God, of course. Jesus Christ. They're under attack. That's something that's happening. But so in order to test her theory, she went to Marin, because Marin's the only other person's dream that she knows that she's meddled in or been in. And so she asks if she has a family portrait. And so she says yes, and she goes and gets it. And she goes, so Violet's like, oh, you're not ever worried about losing it, because in the nightmare, that was like what she was worried about. And Marin says, that used to be my worst nightmare, actually, until I lived through losing them. So worst nightmare. So she's essentially going to be seeing everyone's worst nightmares, which that could be dangerous, because if you're seeing someone's worst nightmares, you know exactly what to do in order to like harm them or cause them the most distress possible. So that could be a very good signet now that I think about it. It's not like you're just walking into any old dream. You're walking into their worst nightmares. And now we're under attack. Here we go. Oh, and side note, we found out that Brennan knows that Xaden is a Venin, and they've actually been trying to mend him for months now. And, well, not months, weeks. Can't get my timelines correct, but they've been trying to mend him for weeks, like with all these different possibilities. And at the end of the chapter, Violet starts smiling, and Xaden's like, Brennan's like, why are you being so weird? Why are you smiling? And she's like, because it means he hasn't given up, which is sweet. Okay. Oh boy, we have an injured Tarn. Oh my God, you guys. Leothin, one of the Irids, he showed up to freaking power up their wardstone like a fucking, what is a good thing? A boss? Like a boss. Leothin the Irid's boss. My God. That's so exciting. Now they'll be safe. Pink it. We're pinking it. Oh my God, it makes sense now. So earlier, Theophany, that stupid Venin that looks like Violet. Okay, guys, we got cut off. So anyways, the priestesses were like, well, Dune sent us you to Violet. And Violet's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're crazy. And then Theophany shows up and they're like, get out of here, heretic. And then Violet notices that Theophany has a mark on her forehead that says that she used to be a priestess. And they all have the same hair color as Violet, I guess, with the silver. So that's interesting. So I don't know what all that means. But then, all of a sudden, Theophany freaks out and she leaves. And they're like, okay, don't know why that happened. And then the wyverns start falling from the sky. And then Xaden shows up. And he's like, the wards are up. And she's like, okay, guys, I got cut off again. Real quick. Promise. So they got cut off, the wards. Theophany all of a sudden freaking out. And then Leothan shows up and he fired the ward, or put his fire on the ward stone so the wards are back up. My God. Okay, I have to go because my phone keeps cutting me off because it's rude. So I'll check back in when I have something exciting happening. So after Irid guy, Leothon, whatever his name is, saves everybody, he's like, I want to talk to Andarna and Violet alone. And you know what this mother effer says? He's like, you should be given the chance to learn our ways, to choose our ways. And she says, you'll stay and teach me? He goes, you will come home with me. It may take a few years, but the others will accept my decision. So then she says, we cannot leave for years. And he goes, you can. So he wants her to leave Violet. Are you kidding me right now? He's like, yep, she'll be safe from all but her own kind under the wing of your mentor. Especially because he fired the ward stone. Whew, I can't. But apparently, what the hell is this guy's name again? Leo Theon or whatever. Is from her den. So he really is like her family. So I know Andarna is going to try to give it a shot. But I don't know if she's going to leave Violet. Are you kidding me? That would be so sad. Anyways, let's see what happens. So she's saying, Andarna, she's like, I am bonded. Our lives, our minds, the very energy that forms us is intertwined. And this guy goes, so end it. Bonds are merely magical ties. You are Irid. You are magic. Bend it, shape it, break it as you see fit. This mother effer wants her to break her bond with Violet. What? You know, I don't like these Irids. Andarna's the only one I like. I can't freaking stand these other ones. I appreciate him firing up the ward stone and all, but damn. Oh my God, you guys. I can't freaking take this. I'm just trying to eat my ice cream cone. But I can't. Oh my God, I'm gonna start crying. She wants to go. Get this cup out of the way. Freaking Andarna wants to go. Oh my God. And of course Violet's not gonna stop her. He says, her other bond will sustain her life. Should you choose to return, you can always reforge the bond. Oh my God, I can't take this. She's like, I'm gonna literally start crying. She's like, whew, wow. I keep my eyes on her, memorizing every detail. Like, I can't even fucking speak the words. Oh my God. Oh. Leothon says, admirable. I understand your choice. And then Andarna, oh God, yearning floods the blonde. Yearning floods the bond, so deep it aches within my own chest, and the pain of it sucks the breath from my lungs. Andarna, I don't know how, and then a shrieking whistle sounds in my head, and then only silence. I reach for the bond, and only a wall, then nothing. Andarna whips her head toward Leothon. He launches without warning, springing high above me. His wings snap open, and wind blasts my face. His scales flicker, turning the color of the cloudy night sky. Oh my God. Andarna roars up at him, and then her gaze swings wildly. Her eyes flare like she wants to say something. And I throw myself at the wall where our bonds should be, but it's gone. And a breath later, so is she. God, she like doesn't even want to live anymore. And freaking Darren's like, you will breathe, bitch. We're still alive. Oh God. Oh my God, Scale is pissed. She goes, how could she do this? I can't. And now she's got to tell everybody because everybody's there while she's having her mental breakdown. Relatable. Oh, God. Everyone's asking, like, what is going on? Violet, she's gone, I whispered to Ree, then crumble under the weight of the unbreakable truth. Zayden catches me, tugging my shoulder against his chest, and his brow furrows as our gazes collide, and Darna's gone. Oh my God. This is too much. And we still have over 100 pages to go. Like, what the fuck else could happen? And now is not the time for me to be reading anything emotional. Whew. Oh, that's true, because normally when a dragon unbonds or dies or whatever, the rider dies too. And so in the little, like, header up top, it says, from Colonel Kaori's Field Guide to Dragonkind, no rider has ever survived the loss of their dragon. And I can't imagine wanting to. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I can't take it. I'm so upset. And she keeps repeating it. And Darna's gone. And Darna's gone. I fucking get it, okay? Oh my God. Now Mira is showing up. Oh. Something's happening with Violet's grandmother. Because there's a couple months, I guess, missing in the mom's journal. And they've been talking about this whole thing called dedication. I don't know exactly what it is. I feel like I missed something. But when they were at the Isle of Dune, there was people with hair like Violet's. And so then Mira and Brennan are talking, and Brennan goes, or Mira says, I was 8 and it was just you and me, remember? Violet was too little to stay. When they returned, Grandma stopped speaking to them. Brennan says, that doesn't mean that they hauled her to Dune's temple and dedicated her. That's been illegal since the 200s. And then in Violet's head, she's like, dedicated. And then she's recalling the Umbrish high priestess who said, it is good we did not complete your dedication. And then she gets a memory of the priestess's silver hair and theophanies. So I don't know what dedicated means, but what the heck? So is there still a chance that I'm so confused. So Mira is saying the priestess spoke all cryptically, but basically said if Violet chooses her future poorly, she could still earn their mentorship, but she'd turn, and then they get cut off. And then Violet's like, turn what? And then she goes, turn Venin. So is Violet also going to turn Venin? Like, what is going on in the House of Commons? Okay, so Violet says they did. It just wasn't here in Paromial. They must have taken me to Umbriel. It explains why you think my hair grew in like this and the wild things the priestess said to me before she sliced my arm open. Brennan says, no, Dad thought you were perfect, and he said that parents used to dedicate their infants to a particular deity service when they thought the touch of a god would help the child. And her stomach hollows. They tried to fix me by giving me to Dune. And then Brennan says, no chance. Mom was never temple-minded and you never needed fixing. And then, oh no, she says, Mom didn't take me. Dad did. It's why he told you that little piece of history, Brennan, in case you needed to put it together. It's why he sent me there with those books. I don't think any of us actually knew our parents. Is that why you've been so distant lately? Why you constantly look at me like I'm going to grow a set of horns because you think I'm going to turn at any second? Sheesh. So I think Mira's talking about the grandmother. The priestess. So she says, Brennan asks Mira what were the priestess's exact words. Mira said that the priestess said that the heart that beat for you or within you would do the wrong thing for the right reason, reach for unspeakable power and turn dark. Violet's at risk of turning, and with power like hers, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, this is getting crazy. And then Zayden goes, it's not Violet, it's me. Bitch, I thought we were keeping it under wraps. My heart beats for her. I reached for unspeakable power. I turned. I'm the dark wielder she warned your father about, not Violet. Stop treating her like she is a liability. I'm the problem. Theophany has kidnapped Mira and Tiny. Dun dun dun. Also, we have less than 100 pages left. We are on page 663, 88% through chapter 57. So shit's about to go down. Full reels. Oh my god, is Mira gonna die? I can't. I mean, no, I can't. I like Mira. That would be sad though. So Theophany not only wants Violet, she wants Bodhi. And so apparently she said to bring Violet and your brother. And Xaden goes, she said brother, and Garrick says, everyone knows you two were raised together. I don't know. Is Bodhi Xaden's brother? Question mark, question mark? Huh. Oh. They're talking about Jack Barlow because he called Xaden brother because they're both Venom. Okay, that makes more sense. Hello, friends. So it is quite a few days later. I have 80 pages left of Onyx Storm. I have not been able to finish it. I think the last check-in was maybe, was maybe Sunday or Monday. But ran into some personal issues and definitely did not feel like reading and was not really in a place to film anything. So, feeling a little bit better, and I've decided to pick the book back up. So again, 80 pages, Mira, they're going to rescue her. So I will keep you guys posted along the way, and here we go, because my mom keeps texting me and telling me that the ending is confusing, and I've seen quite a few people say that the ending is confusing, so interested to see how it all plays out, but here we go. My god, I turned the camera off for 6 pages. Mira just, what? There's quite literally no fucking shot. I have literally no words. There is no freaking way that Mira just got murdered. No freaking way. Ugh. My god. They go there. They bring Violet and Jack per Theophany's request. Theophany says, first thing to learn about us is that we're careful with our words. The second, we also lie. She draws the blade across Mira's neck and slits her throat. Bitch. I quite literally don't even know what to say about that, because that is fucking crazy. God, my hair is I look like Hagrid from Harry Potter. Full on Hagrid. Anyways, so apparently Mira's dead. So there's that. I literally cannot. Okay, so this is where I think something interesting is gonna happen. So Brennan runs up, and in Violet's head, she's thinking, is it even possible? Brennan's powerful, but I can't think of a single rider who's been saved on the battlefield with an injury this extensive. So, I don't know, because I feel like something, me and Dom, we were talking about Brennan and Naolan and, like, their whole situation and how that, like, could project onto Brennan and, like, how that's gonna affect his, like, who he is. Because we feel like something happened where, like, maybe, I don't know, we just feel like something happened. So, let's see. Uh-oh. Oh my god. Stop. I can't right now, because if she loses Violet and Brennan, or Mira and Brennan, because she goes, Jesus, he's like, there's too much damage. She goes, there isn't, Brennan. You can mend anything, remember? Marb, Brennan's dragon, roars. Taryn to Violet says, your brother nears the limit of his power. Oh, God. Garrick time jumps, and Bodhi's like, how much are we trusting Atos these days? And Xaden's like, not enough for what he just saw. So they're going to use Sloane's powers, because I forget what she's called.
a siphon. So she's gonna use Dane's powers, and she's gonna be like the middleman from Dane to Sloane to Brennan to give him more power. So hopefully he can mend Mira. It worked. She's alive. Thank God. I don't know how this is gonna come into play, but I think it is. Brennan walks away. Weird. There's no mark at the back of his neck like he carries on his palm. There hadn't been one on Dane's wrist either. And like I said, I think that's gonna play into the whole Naolin and Brennan thing. Oh, that's right, because Bodhi is his signet is countering signets, so their plan is apparently to counter Theophany's signet. Oh my god, she's the dark wielder. Okay, so Theophany's signet is not lightning wielder. She's a storm wielder, like Violet's mom. And Bodhi's signet apparently doesn't work on dark wielders. It only works on them. Ooh, we're getting a Rhiannon chapter? Oh, shoot! Ooh, now we're getting an Imogen chapter. I like being in the different point of views because I like seeing how all the different riders interact with their dragons. It's pretty funny. Did freaking Imogen, she has a, wait, what? She has a shield? That must be like her second signet because she just like threw up a shield out of nowhere. Like, dang. The leather hardens in my grip as the shield turns to stone. Interesting. Oh no. First of all, I thought that Imogen and Quinn were dating. They're not. They were just best friends. Oh, but that's so sad. She was like the person that Imogen was closest to. So we're on Violet chapter here. Chapter 64, recovered correspondence of High Priestess Deservy to His Royal Highness Cadet Eric Greycastle, Prince Camlin of Navarre. A gift from one servant of Dune to another. I must warn you, only those touched by the gods should wield their wrath. I will pray to her that she need not use it to avoid reacquainting herself with the other who carries her favor. Her path is still not set. IDK what that means. Ooh, I just sucked in my freaking blanket. 97%, guys. Oh my god, they got captured in a net. Where the fuck did a net come from? So she has the package that Sloane gave her or whatever. It says, for when you lose yours, strike in the dark, Violet. I don't know what that means. But they are getting loose from the net, so that's good. Oh, here we go. The fall has broken the wax seal, and the parchment unrolls as I loosen my grip, dropping a carved piece of gray marble in my lap, a ceremonial-looking dagger with familiar flame-shaped etchings. I glance at the accompanying note from the High Priestess of Dune's temple in Eratia, but the letters blur. And it's that same quote from the beginning of the chapter. She lost her dagger. So the note said, for when you lose yours, strike in the dark, and it's a dagger. And then she's like, how would Arik know I lost my dagger? Jeez. Oh, they have Scale too. Scale's also in a net.
Couldn't freaking Zayden's shadows pick up the net? Like, just move the net? Oh my god. I'm literally gonna start crying. She's like, if I burn out, so be it, but she won't touch you because Theophany is coming for him. Oh my god. Says that she was touched but not dedicated in Unreal. Don't know exactly what that means. Only those touched by the gods should wield their wrath. So, I don't know. There must be some sort of power in that dagger that can only be used by someone that is touched by God. And she was touched by Dune? I don't know. Something about, he said, just shoot or stab in the dark. And now Xaden is here with a bunch of shadows, and it's all dark. So is she gonna stab Theophany? Xaden is not. He is fucking wielding from the earth. Oh my god, this guy. Ooh, Eric is a precog. Because he said strike in the darkness. That's what Aric's note said. She goes like, he knew this would happen. I gasp as all the pieces click in one overwhelming heartbeat. The reinforcements telling me to guard Dune's temple, yanking Lynx out of the way before the doors even opened. He knew. He's been manifesting this entire time. He's a real one, not like Melgren, who can only foresee battles. If Eric wields true precognition, he saw this, and he gave me a weapon made of the fractured temple. A temple Theophany can't step inside. I don't believe in oracles, but I do believe in signets. I unsheath the marble dagger with my right hand, mix my pain into the searing power that scorches what's left of my beating heart, lift my broken arm and release the agonizing burn of energy skyward and hold it. Oh my god, Andarna came back! I knew she'd be back! My god. Oh my god, she stabbed Theophany in the heart. Oh my god. Stone doesn't kill Venin. You were never just Venin. Dune is a wrathful goddess to high priestesses who turn their backs on her. She opens her mouth to scream, then desiccates in an instant. I release the bolt, plunging us into darkness and surrendering to the fire burning me alive. Oh no, is she gonna burn out? Oh my god, we have a Xaden chapter. I can't believe Andarna came back. You go, Andarna. I love you, girl. Who the fuck is Berwin? I don't understand who this guy is. I think he's Xaden's sage or something, but I don't know. And Panchek is apparently a traitor. He keeps saying him and his new brother. Who's his new brother? I think it's Garrick. He's taking so much magic. Jesus Christ. His shadows surge from the canyon over the city, ending every wyvern in the air and on the ground. I'm everywhere at once, shredding the net that ensnares Scale, tearing the heart from the wyvern who has Dane and Kath backed into a corner, rushing over Imogen as she looks to the sky. I'm at the pass, plucking wyvern off one by one, listening with satisfaction as their bodies hit the ground in front of the people she loves. I stream up the cliffside, fall back at the magic that burns to the touch, and surge north. I love you. Violet's voice cracks the cold, and a silken thread of warmth wedges itself in the opening before it seals shut. No, wait, I grab for that thread with desperate hands, clawing to keep her as more pieces are blown away, lost to the void. She is warmth and light and air and love. My shadows consume the valley she stands in. Dagger bared, defending Taryn from the same style of net that caught Scale. I shove the maven to the ground regardless of her rank, then slide over Violet with a gentleness that takes all my concentration. I love her. That is the emotion I cling to. Oh God. He says, I know if I take it any farther, it'll be the next and final piece to float away. Xaden's sage, and he thought that he killed him, but he apparently did not. And now he cannot, I guess. because he has something I need. And he's, oh God, he's no longer an initiate. Well, yeah, you just fucking sucked up all the goddamn power in the earth, you friggin' moron. I don't know what is about to happen, but he keeps telling Scale to persuade Taryn about something. He's like, she goes, what is there left for you to forsake? He goes, you tell me. You cannot mean to. Oh, Scale says, you cannot mean to. And then Xaden says, you saw what happened. It's the only way. And Scale says, you think she'll help? Xaden, she loves me. Scale, Taryn does not, and you haven't looked in a mirror yet. Someone owes me a favor. What is gonna go on? All right, we're back in Violet's POV. 3 pages left. She's gonna have to kill Xaden. I'm assuming that's what's going on. Well, this is a weird part of the codex to put in here. It says, while cadets are strongly encouraged not to form romantic attachments while staying in the quadrant, lieutenants are permitted to marry whomever they choose upon graduation. Interesting. So we're back in Violet's POV. What the hell? There's missing eggs? What is going on? She's like waking up. And Darna's like, I will not let them burn you. Brennan's right there and she's like, why would my brother burn me? And then she said, something's wrong. It says official numbers are 4 riders. Their dragons and 3 elders are murdered. And we still have 5 riders missing. But after that display, we all know that Ryerson did this. And then they're talking about missing eggs. And then she's reaching for Taryn, but Andarna says he needs a cycle of rest to recover. Violet goes, recover from what? He was fine when I saw him. What the hell? So Imogen is missing. Garrick is missing. Wait, Lieutenant Tavis. Which one is Tavis? That's not Imogen. Garrick is missing. Tavis. Why am I blanking on who Tavis is? I don't remember. What the fuck? There's a ring on her ring finger. She has no idea why. She goes, how? I was in the field battling Theophany this afternoon, and then she desiccated. I burned myself into unconsciousness. Now it's 3 a.m. I'm in Eratia, and there are murdered dragons and riders, and missing eggs. Xaden wouldn't do that, would he? The storm of shadows, my blood chills. How far had he gone? I fling myself down the bond, but there's nothing there. Oh my God, it's an official blessing of your legal binding marriage by the head priestess of Dune's temple. It's a piece of paper that freaking Brennan found on her. To Xaden? Brennan nods. What the fuck? She goes, my eyes flare, we're married. What the heck? I think the note on the outside is meant for you. Brennan, hands back. Don't look for me. It's yours now. He's gone. I try to fumble, but I can't. How long have I been missing? 12 hours. What did you do? My head snaps toward Imogen and a deep sense of foreboding takes root in my chest. She slowly lifts her gaze to mine. What you asked me to do. What is going on in the House of Commons? So that's the end of the book. I'm confused. What? So they get married, and then clearly she had Imogen, like, wipe her memories? I don't know. I'm so confused. And a bunch of the writers are missing. Don't look for me. It's yours now. I'm assuming he's giving her Tyrandor. And that's why he married her, maybe? I don't know. Huh. Interesting. I don't know. I'm so confused. I don't even know what to rate this book. I don't know. feel like there was a lot going on in this book. I don't think I'm gonna rate it right now. I'm gonna have to like think on it. I have to call my mom. I have to text Dom and go from there. I'll do a final check-in before I end this video.
Hello, friends. So I wanted to film a quick outro because I have been ruminating on this book. First of all, overall thoughts. Enjoyed the book, enjoyed the characters, and I enjoyed the storyline, but it didn't pull on my emotions anywhere near as much as Iron Flame or Fourth Wing. So unfortunately it's not a 5-star for me, but I would say it's between like a 4 and a 4.5. Like it's still high up there. And I honestly think that if I were to reread it, it may be a little higher. Main reasoning for this is because if you got to the end of the vlog, this vlog was a hot mess. I was not doing well pretty much for the entire month of January, and a lot of these clips were me towards the end of the month where I was just dealing with something and I had like no energy. I was a hot mess. I was like in bed 90% of the time. So I'm sure this vlog is a hot mess, and that's fine. I still wanted to get it up for you guys because I still wanted just my journey of reading Onyx Storm out there, because I did have a fun time. We learned a lot of information, and overall I did really, really enjoy the book and thought that it was a good addition to the series, and I'm excited to continue the series. I mean, you just get more of so many characters and you just love them. Like, I love seeing more of Riddick, and I love seeing more of Rhiannon, and I love seeing this whole thing that's going on between Dane and Sloane, and like, I'm excited, and I just love it. Just wasn't a 5-star. Like I said, 4, 4.5, somewhere around there. But I did just want to pop on in this vlog, because this vlog is like pretty sure over 2 hours at this point. So if you made it this far, wow, I appreciate you. And leave me like some sort of, let's do like a dragon emoji in the comments if you made it this far, because you're a real one. Thank you guys so much for being on this Onyx Storm journey with me. Like I said, it was a rough month, so I looked forward to getting to read this book. But like I said, if this vlog was like a hot mess, I do apologize, but I did still want to just put it out there. I hope that you guys enjoyed. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video.